In today's society, we are so obsessed with the way we present ourselves, from how we look physically to how relevant we want to feel amongst our peers. It doesn't help that with social media being our main source to network and communicate, we need to present ourselves at our very best for any reason. People have desires of what they want, whether it's being tall, having a nice body, a face card, or just looking like you're doing well for yourself. Having any type of flaw makes a person feel less confident, and it does not help that having flaws give you less opportunities for a relationship or a job. It happens with men, and it especially happens with women. I mean, like I said, men go through looks getting in our way, but with women, at least from the outside perspective, it seems to affect them more of getting what they want, good or bad. The Substance presents those issues in a glaring light in the movie. And if you haven't heard about this movie, it's about this lady named Elizabeth Sparkles, played by Demi Moore, who was an Academy Award winning actress who then turned into a TV aerobics host in her later years and got fired on her 60th birthday. After Elizabeth gets fired, she gets into a car accident while seeing her billboard go down and goes to the hospital. When Elizabeth is in the hospital, she meets this mysterious nurse who introduces her to this drug called the Substance that makes you younger. Elizabeth eventually takes it to her house, takes the drug, transformation looks like hell, and she becomes her younger self, who's played by Margaret Qualley, and calls herself Sue. If I go any further with the plot, it's a spoiler, so I'll just stop from there. The Substance is freaky, disgusting, and fantastic, and shows the perfect allegory of women's appearances affected them in their everyday life. The first thing that stood out to me in The Substance is how disturbing and disgusting the movie was, not just from the body horror, but the aesthetic too. Corel Fargate, who's the director of The Substance, was able to display how disgusting the body is and how mentally disgusting everyone can be. When it comes to the body, well, the transformation from when Elizabeth turns to Sue is disgusting. It's like an xenomorph birth inside from the outside of the human body. There are times in the movie where this transformation gets Elizabeth in a deep depression, and all she do is consume food that affects her body terribly. Mentally, it's even harder to watch than how the body is being affected by the food and the substance being taken by Elizabeth. You see, the way people eat, including Dennis Quaid's character Harvey, who runs her aerobic show, it's nasty the way Harvey eats a lobster in front of Elizabeth. Before that, when we first meet Harvey, he talks shit about Elizabeth in the bathroom taking a piss, and he don't even wash his hands. I couldn't even eat my food in the theater after that, and it was before the Elizabeth transformation. So Corel Fargate accomplished making you feel sick watching these characters in the movie. The second thing is that The Substance shows the allegory amongst many problems that women have with society. One of the main themes of The Substance is the focus on age and how it can affect women's everyday life. Elizabeth represents the flaws women in general, young and old, are insecure about, which can be having wrinkled skin, some gut, and basically looks overall. When Elizabeth transforms into Sue, she represents the young, new, and perfect woman that everyone is desired to be with, around, and to represent a product. Harvey is really important to this movie because he represents how society looks at women. Harvey looks at Elizabeth as an old has-been who's not doing anything to get the ratings up for her aerobic show as she once did. When Harvey is introduced to Sue, he's being nice to her, giving Sue every opportunity to succeed as a replacement for TV host her older part Elizabeth had. Also, the movie even represents the animosity women have for each other, especially when it comes to the industry. So, The Substance is 100% a body horror movie in every shape possible. The transformation they show Elizabeth turns into Sue, and at a certain point it becomes grotesque. A BBL or surgery can look good, but what happens when you do too much? You start to become unrecognizable, and it might not be as good as you view it in your head. At the same time, as a viewer, which is again from a male perspective, I understand why some women decide to take risks to at least feel confident about themselves. Some men, especially the Vince McMahon type of man, Dennis Quaid is acting as is horrible to people, including to Elizabeth, just because somebody has flaws. Those industry people like Harvey just makes you feel icky and on the long run bitter at their replacement. So as you can tell, I thought this movie was good. Surprisingly had something to say, and there is a reason why a body horror movie like The Substance has a B+ on Cinema Score, which is rare for this type of horror movie. So whenever you have the time and are interested in this type of horror, go check it out.